To most people, this is life as usual in the capital region. Work, school, kids, sports, the arts. But there is a darker side, an underbelly that most of us are completely unaware of. They operate in local hotels, online. It's sex trafficking. Young women taken from their friends and families and sold into a life of drugs and sex with strangers. It happened to Susan. We changed her name and identity. She's not ready for the world to know that as a 14-year-old in Schenectady, she was grabbed off the street, drugged, and forced into a life of prostitution.
He stopped and pulled the car up, and he got out of the car. He said, "Get in the car." And I said, "No, I got 2 feet, I'm walking. I like walking." And then he pulled out a knife. I got shoved into the car, and as I was kind of doing a fading out, it was like, "You work for me now."
She was forced to sleep on a blanket on the floor, wear provocative clothes and shoes. He told her what to say and how to act, and he was always watching.
I was told that if I ran away, he would find me, he would kill me. I was told that if I didn't do what he wanted me to do, I wasn't going to eat. I got hit, I got slapped, I got pushed out there. I got threatened with, "I've got a gun in this car."
She was taken to local motels in random cars, and most of the men she was forced to do things with knew she was barely a teenager.
Actually made me walk up and down State Street, and men would actually pull up, and I tried being smart and saying, "I'm only 14. That's all right, get in."
Susan doesn't know how long it went on for. She thinks maybe a year. Then one day, a family friend saw her from his cab.
They said, "Come on, get in, we'll go for a ride." Got in the car, and he drove me straight to the police station.
The man who abducted Susan went to prison, and Susan got the help she needed to put her life together. But that's rarely how these cases turn out, and sadly, it happens here more than we realize.
A lot of people think that it's just poor children or strictly inner city children. It's normally not the case.
Albany County Sheriff Craig Apple has seen it over and over, and while they may not be walking the streets, they're now being put out there in other ways.
Mostly are younger girls who meet somebody online who at that point have no idea who they're talking to. They think they're talking to an 18 to 20 something, and instead it's a 50-year-old guy who has this going with 3 or 4 other young ladies. He'll meet her and boom, out of the area they go. And it happens a lot in a lot of area hotels. I know when people see this, they're gonna go, "Geez, does that really happen around here?" You wouldn't believe the amount of times a day that we're getting calls or finding people.
And the help is coming from the most unlikely of places. Stephen Dick Jr. owns Night Moves, a strip club in Latham. He's also part of a national coalition of club owners working with Homeland Security to fight sex trafficking.
This is modern-day slavery. These are people who are being held against their will and forced to do things that they don't necessarily want to be doing.
The club owners are trained in how to spot a woman who's being trafficked and what to do about it. And it's working.
We've had several positive results. We found that with the education and knowing what to look for, we've actually been able to save several women.
Across the capital region, billboards have popped up, providing a hotline and a way out. But just putting it out there isn't enough. Sheriff Apple says it's up to the public to help too.
We always tout, see something, say something. Well, it doesn't always have to be for terror. But when it comes to trying to help a child, you've got to do everything you can, because this person has a long life ahead of him or herself, and there's a lot of services out there.
It's because of women like Susan who are willing to bring their stories out of the dark and shed some light on the very real issue of sex trafficking right here in the capital region that help is available. The state has a hotline set up, and there are resources out there. All it takes is a phone call. Kelly Lynch, News Channel 13.